Good morning, my friends. Steve is here. Steve is in the house, if you don't count the cats, by himself in terms of co-housing units. Co-housing units are off adventuring, which I greatly appreciate their desire to go adventuring. I think I'll have to check later, but I think they're called the co-housing, anima units. And I think, therefore I am that I am. I think that anima might refer to the part, if a person's in a female body, a female form, that inner male might be the anima. And, you know, all these considerations about the male, female, what your place in the world ought to be, whatever. And somebody recently commented who had watched one of my Mayan calendar readings, a fairly recent one, I think. But anyway, she said it just went right over her head. And she's interested in spirituality and healing, and so she's going to try me a few more times. But so I kind of wrote her a fairly long response, kind of explaining that the Mayan calendar might not be the easiest place to start in terms of if you want to kind of ground yourself in something. I think that, so I'm going to just start off today. I already started off, but I'm going to start off kind of again without shutting it off and starting again. I'm just going to start off again and knock my hearing aid thing, make my head jerk. These are all professional. I had my people come in, do my hair, do my makeup. They didn't do such a good job shaving me, but what can I say? And they actually brought out my, I don't know what this would be. It says Lake Michigan Unsalted, which I think is very cute. And I think it's hard to arrange your hood when when you're doing it backwards in a way, because it's not a mirror image, it's yourself, but looking at yourself the way you're looking at yourself that the other self is looking at. It makes it very confusing. That's enough of that. Oh, see, you comb it the wrong way because you think it's a mirror, but it's not. It's you looking at yourself in the way that you're looking at yourself, which is not the way you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Okay, so this woman started off by saying that everything I said kind of just went right over the top of her head. And we're not surprised, are we? Anyone who has listened to me before are not surprised by things seeming to go over the top of our heads. And over the top of our heads is the crown chakra. And that's where the higher realms, kind of its entry point into our consciousness. And and this is one of the 3 cards from the tarot deck that just got recently, but when our heads and our hearts are aligned, our actions will be aligned. And we will be in the flow of that universal energy coming through us. And when that universal energy is coming through us, we are a lighthouse of that universal energy. How does that sound? Maybe this new person will get to watch this video, although I did suggest to her that she go to my channel page. This is also otherworldly for me. This is a world that just like I don't relate to very well. But I'm attempting to relate very well, as well as I can well relate. Okay, so let's just do this if you feel like it. I think this is a good way to start. I connect to my state out loud. I connect to my deep self. And just feel that state of connecting to your deep self. I connect to my higher self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. And if you choose to work with the Hathors, then state out loud, I choose to work with the Hathors, or Hathors, however you wish to say it. And anything that's not in my highest good, I choose to release now. Just can't straighten it properly when you're just doing it all backwards. Okay, the Mayan calendar reading for today. There's just some interesting things going on that I think it's good for us to note. This is actually the Mayan calendar month is a 28-day month. It's based on the 28 days of the lunar cycle. And the Mayan people kind of mapped out the energetics of the points of the lunar cycle, and they broke it down into 13 frequencies. So lunar day 1 has a particular frequency, I think is magnetic, and then there's there's electric, there's spectral, there's crystal, there's cosmic. Cosmic is the 13th, I think magnetic is the 1st. So you go through these 13 phases of energies of the moon till you come to the cosmic, then you start over again. So yesterday was the cosmic, and it was a yellow star day, and today is a magnetic. So it's the first day of the 13-day cycle of lunar energetics. I'll just explain this over and over again, and we'll all get it at the same time. We'll have this, wow, I get it. Okay, so we're just going to read about the magnetic tone. And there's a few things in here, and it'll be interesting if I can actually get this done. I think I've already used up 20 minutes. No, I've only used up 8. So there's a chance I can get this done in under 20. That's my goal in life. You got to have a goal in life, and that's my goal, is to get these videos in under 20 minutes. So tone 1 of the 13 lunar tones is the magnetic tone. And the 3 words related to the magnetic tone are unify, attract, and purpose. And here's just a saying, and it doesn't put it to anybody, so anybody could have made this saying, and it sounds like everybody did make this saying. All things are the differentiation of one infinity. Kind of hang out in that for a minute. All things are the differentiation of one infinity. I can't argue with it. It's hard to argue unless you're a know-it-all, and then you can argue about anything that you don't know. You can just argue because you just like the arguing part of life. That just proves that you're right about everything. And I can't say that I don't relate to this, but I'm working with it. And one of the things that I've noticed about let's call them the know-it-alls. So if one finger, in this case, one finger faces forward, one finger, three fingers face back. So no matter which way I'm pointing the finger, I'm getting the finger pointed in both directions. So there's no way out of this know-it-all release. So when I talk about a know-it-all, I'm basically talking about my former self. Some would say my current self. But you never lose anything. That's a good thing to know. You just let go of some things that are no longer serving your highest good. So tone 1 represents the source of creation, the indivisible essence of all that is. In the unified whole of life, nothing is outside of the one. That's my spiritual premise. Nothing's outside of the one. Awakening to the inherent unity of all things, even if you're not necessarily feeling like everything feels unified, awakening to the inherent unity of all things can expand one's sense of purpose. That's what it says. I'm just unifying, attracting purpose today. So I'm just going with it. I'm going with the flow today. It's not like the last few days where it felt like the flow was a little bit log jammed. Maybe the beavers had got in and made a beaver dam in the stream of consciousness. I like that metaphor. A beaver dam in the stream of consciousness. We realize we are each an expression of totality, embodying a unique and essential contribution. When seeking our purpose, we find it is alive, encoded within us. It's one with who we are. It calls to us cellularly. Isn't it just nice to hear these words? I mean, if you're not liking them, you've already clicked anyway. So I'm speaking to the people who are still here after almost 10 minutes. And I say, it calls to us cellularly, and it nudges us through obvious attractions that draw our attention. And it just goes, keep moving, this isn't it. Okay. Once we have unified with our purpose, we naturally magnetize that which supports its unfoldment. From the vast realms of infinite possibility, all is attainable. As we open to receive from Source, the Source which provides all, resources and synchronistic opportunity are gracefully attracted. We find that others are drawn to the same cause, and we are never alone on this journey. Oneness decrees, there is only one moment. I've decreed the same thing. Of course, I'm part of the oneness, so wouldn't you expect that? The ever-changing now, that's it. There's only one moment. The ever-changing now. As the now shifts, oh no, the now shifts? Let's hope so. So must purpose transform as the moment directs. No purpose is too small. Every act serves the grand weaving of reality. In a continuous stream of energy, not a single movement can be insignificant. Ultimately, when investigating what our purpose is, let us know true purpose must serve the oneness. We all serve the oneness by serving the now with sincerity and heart. I really like this. I'm so glad I read this today. I've read it before, but I've never read it before. You know what I mean? When I say that it can seem like we've read something, but our consciousness has changed, and we're reading it again for the first time. So today, Fridays, I guess in general, relate to the root chakra, the kind of the basis of our energy. And today our energy is a red moon, which is guided by universal water. So in the calendar, we go to the section that says red moon. It's right next to white dog, right above yellow human, pretty close to blue monkey. Red moon. I don't know if you can expand that and read it if you want to later. Otherwise, you can just go in and look up red moon at 13moon.com. And they're a lovely group of people running a Mayan galactic calendar, which I have found very useful for many years, to have this calendar and have an idea of what's going on today. So a red moon day. Red comes from the east, and it initiates. It's the root chakra, and it purifies universal water and flow. So today is the first day of the 13 tones of the moon, the magnetic tone, and it also is about purification, universal water, and flow. And interesting that I unconsciously talked about the dam in my flow the past few days. We could say we could do like the tarot card does: few days, few weeks, few months, few years. There's been some damming of the flow on and off as far back as I can remember. There were times where it just felt like flow, flow, flow. I'm looking forward to that time again. But in this time of purification, so we're in the Mayan month of liberation. We're in the we're getting close to 10 months of the 28-year purification cycle that was initiated in 1997 with the coming of the new soul of the earth, Abrahamanat, who came to help the planet and the people and all life forms move up to a higher dimension of reality. This dimension is referred to as 5D, fifth dimension. There's other dimensions above that. In this locality, I think the dimensionality goes up to 12, but according to the lunar tones, 12 is a kind of a stuck point, and until you move to the cosmic tone, you're stuck. And so maybe there's 12 dimensions. I know of some 12-dimensional beings, but in the last year, this other being has shown up in terms of the healing sessions I do, and it's none of these dimensions. It's an interdimensional being. So it's a being who represents the point between our 12 dimensions and other dimensional realities, and we could think of that being as the 13th dimensional being. And I like it. That's the first time I've had that thought. But I've always wondered, like, well, why isn't this part of our 12-dimensional reality? Well, because it's not. It's a bridge between our 12-dimensional reality and other dimensional realities. It's all one, but still, these are the things that these little minds and growing hearts want to think about. Some of us. Okay, so according to Heraclitus, Heraclitus. It sounds maybe Roman or Greek or something. He says, "You cannot step twice in the same river, for fresh waters are ever flowing in." Okay, the symbol for red moon appears like a beacon, a portal inviting us into self-remembrance of who we are in our purity. Red moon is a messenger of the ever-present opportunity to renew one's being, to rejuvenate, to cleanse ourselves, that we may be free of toxins, falsehoods, distortions, and disserving energies, to refine ourselves as clear vessels, to restore health and well-being. Perhaps the strongest forces of purification are gratitude and forgiveness. So, I'm going to read on, but just in this moment say, I'm grateful for my willingness to change. And I forgive myself for the times that I put up so much resistance to changing. Seems like a good one for today. Acknowledging the totality of our human experience as a divine gift and remembering we are ever learning, innocent students of life. The power of universal water invites us to call upon our fluidity, adaptability, resilience, and ability to change states. I can't express any greater the importance of our ability to change states. And I don't mean from Washington to Oregon, although I've been thinking about taking a little trip down there. But flow reminds us of the law of impermanence, asserting that change is the only constant in life. In a continual process of release and renewal, we cycle in phase with nature's rhythms. If we are resistant to the flow of life and its patterns, as well as its unpredictability, we may encounter unnecessary stress or struggle, or overlook fresh opportunities presenting themselves. We can't control the river of life, therefore it's wise to yield to the momentum of the naturally arising circumstances. Water is the largest component of our planet Earth and our human bodies. Red Moon advocates, hydrate yourselves. I'll repeat that. Hydrate yourselves. Bathe your bodies, possibly in Epsom salts. Cry your tears. Claim your sanctity. Go with the flow of your soul. Notice how it feels when you think about that, going with the flow of your soul. Celebrate all the wonderful and various manifestations of water, moonlight, oceans, clouds, and rainstorms. May we honor this precious resource. So I think that it's interesting to me today, and might be to you, that in the book that I've been reading, which is Gods in Every Man, and it was written by a person who wrote, her first book was, I think, The Goddess in Every Woman, and her name is Jean Shinoda Bolen, and she's a medical doctor, psychiatrist, Jungian psychotherapist, and she's an international teacher. And I don't know if it was one chapter or multiple chapters on Zeus. So we have Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. So these are the Greek gods that they're working with. And Zeus was kind of the top gun of the triangle of Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. So Hades is the god of the underworld. Zeus is the god of kind of the overworld, the sky and stuff, and Poseidon is the god of the waters and the mountains, and they kind of share the earth shell, and then Hades has got the underworld that he is the god of. We notice that it's all gods in that Greek mythology because they were part of that whole 13,000 years of patriarchy that's coming to a halt. Maybe not quick enough for some people, but still it is coming to an end. And we're moving into this 13,000 year cycle of matriarchy. And whatever that means, we can have a discussion group or something. So anyway, the last 2 nights, I've been going into the Poseidon aspect of the 3. So I don't know much about Hades, but I got plenty of Zeus. We've all had plenty of Zeus, and I think maybe we may have had plenty of Poseidon, but I'm just getting into the Poseidon, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I think I found my Greek god is Poseidon, who is Poseidon himself. I mean, he's just like, all the gods, all 3 of them, Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, they're kind of, I don't know if you could use the term assholes, but I think they're just competitive little shits who just are dropping stuff on each other and on the humans and all the stuff. And if they get pissed off a little bit, they flood an area, They just they're a little creepy. And they're mythological figures that we can find representations of in ourselves. And so it's a good way to possibly make some changes, which is what this day is about. Making changes, allowing ourselves to get more into the flow of the universal water. I wouldn't necessarily say Poseidon, but the universal water, the water of the One. And we can let it flow through our consciousness, align our heads, our hearts with our action, and come more and more in alignment with our soul's purpose. Now let's go. 27 minutes. Once again, I was successful in going 8 minutes over the time I wanted to hold myself to. All right, now let's go.